Hello and welcome to Big Dash Knows. Big Dash knows what? New York Giants football. Let's go. I got a question for you. You see the thumbnail. Who's the weaker link, the offense or the defense? On the count of three, we're going to say it together. I'm going to say it. You're going to say it. We're going to say either offense or defense. In 3, 2, 1, defense. I say the defense. I see your face. You're shocked. I understand. It shocks me too. When I thought about this offseason and things that were happening as far as free agency, the draft, I'm like, yeah, the defense is ready to go. But when I think about this offense and where we were last year compared to what we had done this offseason, with the pickups, with the draft, with the trades, I'm leaning towards this offense being the stronger of the two. And this is not a knock on the defensive coordinator. This is not a knock on Wink Martindale. It's just me looking at the roster, thinking about the key additions that were added, and like, yeah. And also looking at the rankings from last year, because again, it's a little bit tricky. I'm going with the offense over the defense, and I'm saying that the defense will be the weaker link, and I don't expect us to be a weak defense. I'm just saying, as far as if I'm comparing the two, I have more concerns with the defense than I do the offense. I know it sounds crazy, but let's get down into these numbers. But before I do that, please hit that like and subscribe. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before and you're already subscribed, shout out to you, Giants family. Now let's get into these stats. So these stats are going to be from teamrankings.com. I put the graphic up, as you can see. Now the first thing we're going to look at is just the overall rankings. A lot of this has to do with both the offense and the defensive side. So first we're going to look at the points per game. So on the offensive side, we only scored 21.2 points a game. That had us ranked at 18th in the league. If you look at the defense, we were giving up 22.8 points a game, and now we were ranked at 22 in the league. So again, very close as far as the averages go, but you see that is very close in the rankings as well. But you have to lean towards the offense because the ranking was better. Now, when we look at yards per game on the offensive side, we averaged about 333 yards per game, and we were ranked 19th. On the defensive side, we gave up about 359 yards per game, and we were ranked 25th. So the offense wins again when it comes to these rankings from last year. And just staring at these numbers, it's so close. I understand why people can lean one way or the other, how somebody can think defense and somebody can think offense like myself. So it's not really an argument. It's very, very debatable, but I'm just telling you my thoughts and putting a lot of this information out there for you guys to see it. Now on third down conversions for the offense, we ranked 22nd. And then on third down conversions for the defense, we ranked 5th. So the defense takes it, no question, not debatable. Top 5 defense on third downs. And it's crazy to me because I remember yelling at my screen like, we can't get off the field on third down. But it's probably just in some of those losses, because I guess when we were winning, our defense was doing a pretty good job on third down. And then the last thing I want to point out is the red zone scoring. So our red zone, we scored 64% of the time in the red zone, which put us at 5th. And these are touchdowns in the red zone. Ranked 5th. And then you look at the defense, we didn't give up much touchdowns, and we were ranked as a top 10 defense as far as the red zone goes. So these are solid numbers when you look at the bare bones of it. We do have to make some improvements when it comes to both sides of the ball, but I'm happy with some of these overall numbers. Now, okay, so next I'm going to talk about the rushing game. Now on offense, we averaged about 4.9 yards per rush. That gave us a ranking of 4th in the league as far as yards per rush. On the defensive side, we gave up about 5.3 yards a rush in the game, and we were ranked 31st, almost dead last there. And these numbers do not lie. These are statistics. Our running defense just was not up to par. And then when we look at our average yards rushing per game, we averaged about 146 rushing yards a game. Offense ranked 6th, and then our defense gave up 146 yards per game, and our ranking was 28th. So you see the trend going on here. There's absolutely a trend going on, and again, I think the offense is edging the defense in this discussion, in this debate. So let's put these numbers to the side and let's get into some of these key additions in the offseason. And first I want to talk about the offense, and the first person I'm going to talk about is John Michael Schmitz. John Michael Schmitz, 2nd round pick, the #1 center coming out in the draft, and the New York Giants got him. And let me tell you this, one thing that we need to solidify, especially for this offense to go, is this offensive line. Last year we dealt with Feliciano, who did some okay work, but it wasn't consistent enough, and flat out just wasn't good enough for this New York Giants to be where we wanted to be. Now that we have a top center, in my opinion, he can be one of the top centers in the league. John Michael Schmitz, key addition, helping solidify this offensive line, and I'm happy with that. Now let's throw up the graphics. So one thing that the New York Giants needed on offense was speed. Everybody complained about speed. Everybody complained about deep routes, and rightfully so. So when you look at some of these key additions, for the offense, the first name I'm going to talk about is Darren Waller. Yes, a tight end, but a tight end that can run a 4.5 40. Top speed for a tight end. I believe that you would agree with me. Now, if you look at the other addition, we drafted in the 3rd round Jalen Hyatt, one of the top wide receivers in college football. At the combine, he ran a 4.4. He was clocked at running almost 24 miles an hour, in the football game. So that man is fast. And I'm thinking his game speed is faster than his combine speed. And a lot of people will probably agree with that too. So you got that. And then also we signed Paris Campbell, another speedy wide receiver. If you look at his combine, he ran a low 4.3 40. So we added the speed that everybody wanted last year to this offense. Now, all this stuff is on paper. Hopefully we can get this thing to work out. But I don't see why not, especially with improvements on the offensive line. Andrew Thomas was an all-pro. Evan Neal struggled last year, but the man is working his hardest to be who we all want him to be. And I think that if he can have that improvement, this offensive line and this offense will be ready to go week 1 against Dallas. Now, flipping it and switching it to the defense, I'm going to talk about some of the key additions we had on defense. And the number one person I'm going to talk about is Bobby Okereke. So I'm not going to talk about Dexter Lawrence, even though I'm saying his name right now, or Leonard Williams saying his name right now, because that's a given. Dexter Lawrence is a given. We have an all-pro defensive tackle, and Leonard Williams is who Leonard Williams is. But let's talk about Bobby Okereke. Last year, I complained about the poor interior linebacker play. Last year, we lost Darian Beavers, who probably was going to be a starter. We lost Blake Martinez because he didn't want to be here anymore. We ended up picking up Jalen Smith off the streets. Tay Crowder was Tay Crowder. Micah McFadden was a rookie. Austin Kalitro, I don't even know who he is. And that's what we were dealing with for the main point of the season. We even went out and picked up Landon Collins, moved him from safety to linebacker because we could not find the right player to put into that position. No longer. We have Bobby Okereke. Bobby Okereke from the Indianapolis Colts, a tackling machine. So now you have Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, and another guy I'm going to talk about, Ashawn Robinson. You have those guys in the front, and now you have a sideline linebacker that can clean up everything that gets past those guys, and that's what we've been waiting for. That's what the New York Giants needed, fan base wanted, and we finally have, and hopefully this all pans out. Now the other question is, who's going to be the linebacker next to Bobby Okereke? I'm throwing my hat in the ring for Darian Beavers. I don't know if we're going to go out there and pick up another free agent, but I'm talking about Bobby Okereke, so let's keep it on point. Another name I want to talk about, and I did just mention his name, is Ashawn Robinson. We went over all these stats about how poor the New York Giants were in run defense, rush defense. And we pick up a run stuffer in Ashawn Robinson. I believe he starts on the defensive line. He's going to be the D tackle. Of course, Lawrence is going to be the nose tackle, and Leonard Williams at the end. And then we also have Nacho that we picked up. He's going to be a rotational piece on that defensive line too. So Joe Schoen saw a weakness in our defense and addressed it this offseason and did it in a major way without breaking the bank. Again, Ashawn Robinson is going to be big for the run defense. Nacho, we picked him up from Tampa Bay. He's going to be very important in this rotation for the run defense, and I'm very, very happy with that. Now, the last guy I want to talk about as far as a key addition for the defense is going to be our number 1 draft pick, Deonte Banks. We had a big hole in the secondary. Now, even though Wink Martindale was able to duct tape that secondary together and have these guys playing better than anybody thought they were going to be able to play, we still went out there with the first round pick and picked up Deonte Banks, one of the top man press corners in this draft, a guy that fits Wink's system to the T. Tall, physical, strong, fast. That's what Wink Martindale is looking for when it comes to his secondary. He wants to play man. He wants to be able to trust that his outside guys can hold up so that he can get to the ball, whether it's going to be stunts, blitzes, things like that. Wink Martindale needs good corners and able to run his defense. And I think that with that improvement, with the addition of Deonte Banks, and again, you have a rookie who's going to have some rookie struggles, but I think for the most part, we're going to be right in his wheelhouse of what he does best. And he has a good mentor in Adoree Jackson on the other side of the ball in that cornerback room that's going to have him ready to go along with Wink Martindale. So what are your thoughts? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know if you think it's the offense or the defense that's the weaker link. Obviously, I didn't talk about certain players. I didn't talk about Saquon Barkley or Daniel Jones because, hey, for me personally, you can start a million arguments when you mention names like that. But for me, Daniel Jones, I really have a strong belief that Daniel Jones will take his game to the next level. I think a lot of that has to do with the offensive line as well. When you look at the rankings, as far as time in the pocket, not time scrambling around, but time in the pocket without pressure, it was pretty low. It was pretty low. So that's going to be the video. Let me know what you guys think again in the comments down below. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation. Let's go.